Ethan Parker, a widower and hardworking mechanic, had spent years juggling long shifts to make ends meet. One rainy night, on his way home, he offered a ride to a stranded woman. The next morning, the deafening sound of a helicopter shook him awake. It was hovering right over his house. What happened next left him utterly stunned. Hi everyone, welcome to Inspiring Stories. Today, I'm excited to share another incredible story with you. Let's get started. Ethan Parker, a seasoned mechanic in his early 50s, had always been a man of routine. His days were filled with the hum of engines, the scent of motor oil, and the rhythmic clanking of tools against metal. Ever since losing his wife, Emily, to an unexpected illness, he had buried himself in work, finding solace in the familiar rather than confronting the emptiness in his home. It was late in the evening when Ethan finally closed up the auto shop. The sky had darkened into an inky black, the storm clouds heavy and unrelenting. Rain poured down in thick sheets, drumming against the pavement as he navigated the winding road toward his house, the headlights cutting through the downpour. The drive was usually uneventful. This road was seldom traveled at night, but tonight was different. His eyes caught movement ahead. A lone figure, drenched and shivering, stood on the side of the road, desperately waving down passing cars. Few vehicles ever passed this way, especially in this kind of weather. Ethan slowed down, debating whether to stop. He wasn't the type to pick up strangers, but something about the situation felt urgent. Rolling down the window slightly, he called out, "Need a ride?" The woman nodded quickly, her relief evident. "Yes, please. My car broke down a while back, and my phone's dead. I was hoping to find someone kind enough to stop." Ethan unlocked the door. "Hop in." As soon as she settled in, he handed her a small wool towel from the glove compartment. She took it gratefully, rubbing her arms to warm up. "I appreciate this. I'm Amelia." "Ethan," he replied, adjusting the heater. "Where you headed?" "Birchwood Avenue. My friend lives there. I was on my way when my car gave up on me." Ethan nodded, pulling back onto the road. "You were lucky I was driving through here. This road's pretty deserted at night." Amelia sighed. "Yeah, I was starting to worry no one would come by." They drove in silence for a moment, the sound of rain tapping against the windshield. Ethan turned the radio dial, filling the car with soft music. The song that played brought a small ache to his chest. He recognized it instantly. It had been one of Emily's favorites. "This song," he murmured. "My wife loved it. I used to play it for her all the time." Amelia turned slightly, sensing the weight in his voice. "She must have been a wonderful person." Ethan gave a small smile. "She was." The conversation shifted as he shared stories of Emily their early days, her laughter, the way she made every place feel like home. Amelia listened intently, offering a few kind words here and there. It wasn't often Ethan spoke about his wife to a stranger, but something about this moment felt natural. 15 minutes later, they arrived at Birchwood Avenue. Amelia insisted on walking the last few blocks, assuring Ethan she'd be fine. He watched as she disappeared into the rain before heading home, unaware that this single act of kindness would alter his life forever. Ethan woke up to an unfamiliar noise, a deep, rhythmic thudding that rattled the windows. Groggy and disoriented, he sat up, rubbing his eyes. The sound was growing louder, vibrating through the walls. He pulled the curtain aside and froze. A helicopter was hovering just above his house. His heart pounded. What in the world was happening? A sharp knock at the door snapped him out of his daze. Still dressed in his sleepwear, he hesitated before opening it. Standing outside was a man in a tailored suit, flanked by two others. "Mr. Parker." "Mr. Parker?" the man asked, in a professional tone. Yeah?" Ethan replied, eyeing them warily. "I'm here on behalf of Amelia Sterling. She would like to see you." Ethan's brows furrowed. "Amelia? From last night?" The man gave a small nod and produced a photograph from his pocket. It was her. Ethan glanced up at the helicopter, then back at the men. "I think you've got the wrong guy. I just gave her a lift home. She specifically requested you, Mr. Parker. If you're willing, we can take you to her now." Ethan hesitated. This was all so bizarre, but curiosity gnawed him. He sighed. "Give me a second to change." Minutes later, dressed in jeans and a worn leather jacket, Ethan followed the men outside. The helicopter's blades whipped the air, sending leaves swirling across the yard. He climbed aboard. still unsure what he was getting himself into. Inside, Amelia sat comfortably, dressed in an elegant yet casual outfit, her expression unreadable. "Ethan," she greeted him with a warm smile. "I'm glad you came." He strapped himself in, adjusting the headset given to him. "I didn't think I had much of a choice. Mind telling me what's going on?" Amelia exhaled. "I owe you an explanation. My full name is Amelia Sterling. My father is Robert Sterling." Ethan blinked. "As in Sterling Industries? The billionaire?" She nodded. "That's right." Ethan let out a low whistle. "Well, that explains the helicopter. But why the secrecy last night?" Amelia's expression softened. "I get treated differently when people know who I am. I wanted to see if kindness still exists without wealth being a factor. And you were genuine. You helped a stranger just because it was the right thing to do." Ethan leaned back, absorbing her words. "So, this was a test?" "In a way. But it was more than that. You reminded me that there are still good people in the world. And I want to return that kindness." She nodded to one of the suited men, who handed her a leather folder. Amelia turned back to Ethan and held it out to him. "This is for you." Ethan frowned as he took it and flipped it open. Inside were official documents, deeds, and ownership papers. His breath caught in his throat. "A fully equipped auto repair shop," Amelia explained. "Paid in full. It's yours." Ethan stared at the papers. I can't accept this. It's too much." Amelia smiled gently. "It's not charity, Ethan. It's gratitude. And I know you'll put it to good use." For a long moment, he sat in stunned silence. The idea of owning his own shop had always been a dream, but he had never imagined it could actually happen. He looked up at Amelia, searching her face for any sign that this was a joke, but there was only sincerity in her eyes. Finally, he exhaled and nodded. "All right, I'll accept it, but not as a handout. I'll earn it." Amelia grinned. "That's what I was hoping you'd say." The helicopter veered towards the city, carrying Ethan toward a future he had never dared to believe possible. Months passed, and Ethan's life transformed in ways he never thought possible. The once tired mechanic, who spent years working long hours just to get by, now walked into his own auto shop every morning, breathing in the scent of fresh paint and newly polished tools. The garage, a fully equipped state-of-the-art facility, had his name on the sign. Parker's Auto Repairs. At first, the idea of running his own shop had been daunting, but as he adjusted to this new reality, Ethan realized how much he loved the freedom it gave him. He hired a small but dedicated team, including a young apprentice who reminded him of himself in his early years, full of passion but lacking opportunity. He was determined to pay forward the kindness he'd received. Despite the initial struggles of managing a business, Ethan found joy in his work again. Customers trickled in at first, but soon, word spread about his honesty and skill. Within months, Parker's Auto Repairs became one of the most trusted garages in town. Amelia kept her promise and visited occasionally. She never acted like a benefactor, nor did she expect gratitude. Instead, their conversations grew more personal, their bond deepening beyond the circumstances that had first brought them together. One evening, after a busy day at the shop, Amelia stopped by unannounced. She leaned against the counter, watching Ethan work. "You really built something special here," she remarked. Ethan chuckled, wiping his hands on a rag. "Couldn't have done it without you." "You could have," she corrected. "You just needed the opportunity." He considered that for a moment, then nodded. "Maybe. But I'm grateful nonetheless." As their friendship grew, Ethan found himself appreciating Amelia not as the wealthy heiress who had changed his life, but simply as someone who understood him. Their conversations shifted from business to life, memories, dreams. One day, as they sat outside the shop sipping coffee, Amelia asked, "Do you ever think about that night? The rain, the broken car, how everything led to this?" Ethan smiled. "All the time. If you hadn't been stranded, and if I had just driven past. But you didn't. And now, look at you." He exhaled, gazing at his shop, the realization hitting him once again. It's funny, isn't it? How one small decision stopping to help someone can change everything. Amelia nodded. It's proof that kindness never goes unnoticed. Years passed, and Ethan's shop grew even more successful. He expanded, opening a second location, hiring more employees, and mentoring young mechanics who reminded him of himself. He had never imagined his life would take this turn, but he embraced it with open arms. Amelia, too, changed in her own way. She continued to run her family business, but often spoke about how that rainy night had changed her perspective. She sought out more ways to connect with people beyond the bubble of wealth and privilege she had been born into. One day, Amelia visited Ethan's shop with an offer. "Have you ever thought about teaching? Training young people who don't have many opportunities?" Ethan raised an eyebrow. "You mean like a program?" She nodded. "A foundation. We fund scholarships for young mechanics, help them find apprenticeships, maybe even set up schools." Ethan was quiet for a long moment. "You're serious about this?" "Completely, and I want you to lead it." Ethan chuckled, shaking his head. "Never thought I'd be the kind of guy to run something like that." "You already are. You just don't see it yet." He thought about all the years he had spent struggling, all the young men and women who had passed through his shop looking for a chance, just like he had once needed. Finally, he nodded. "Let's do it." And so, with Amelia's support, Ethan founded the Parker Automotive Academy, giving back to the community that had given him so much. Looking back, he often marveled at how everything had started with one simple actor ride on a rainy night. And as he trained his students, he reminded them of a lesson he had learned firsthand. Sometimes, the smallest choices lead to the biggest changes. Did you enjoy this story? If so, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more inspiring tales like this one. Make sure to watch the video playing on your screen right now. It's one you definitely don't want to skip. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.